So I've been studying the book of Nehemiah in my quiet time. And I've always been fascinated with Nehemiah because Nehemiah was such a profound leader. And Nehemiah was a man of God who faced adversity. And in the face of adversity, he was still able to do the work of God and still able to do and follow God's will and his way. The first two chapters of Nehemiah, Nehemiah's brother and a few of the other men came to report to Nehemiah that the city, their hometown, Jerusalem, was in ruins. And because the wall was ruined, that left the people uncovered. And so they went in the first chapter to go and report this information to Nehemiah. And because of this bad report, because of what his brother and the other men shared, Nehemiah wept for the city. Nehemiah wept for his people. Nehemiah knew that the people were in trouble because they were uncovered. And because of this uncovering, Nehemiah immediately went into a fast, immediately went to God in prayer, immediately, read the word of God, immediately started repenting of the sins of his fathers, started repenting went to God and started repenting for what his fathers did that was against the will, against God, against his word, started repenting of his sins, of his own sins, so that God would cleanse the hearts and so that God would hear his prayer. I commission you to read the entire book of Nehemiah, but those are just a couple of things that really stood out. That when Nehemiah's brother and his other men went to Nehemiah about what shape the city was in, Nehemiah quickly went into a fast and quickly went in to pray. And because of this, after he got through praying to God, the entire first chapter in Nehemiah, in the second chapter, when he went to serve the king, because Nehemiah was a cupbearer, the king noticed that Nehemiah was not the same Nehemiah, that there was something that was bothering him, because the look of it was all over his face, that he was in turmoil and that he was in pain because of what his people were going through. And the king said, basically, what is troubling you? Yeah, I know you're not sick. I know you're not ill. So there's something else that's bothering you. And so Nehemiah told the king what was bothering him and what his people were going through. Because what his people were going through, even though he had a place in the palace, it was still bothering him. Because when your people go through stuff, if you connected to your people, you going through it as well. So he told the king what was bothering him and the position and the state that his people were in. And the king granted Nehemiah a work release, basically. The king gave Nehemiah everything that he needed to return to his home, to return to rebuild Jerusalem. The king granted his prayer and allowed him time away from his job in order to go and take care of his business. And so my prayer to you this week is that God grant you favor in the workplace. Listen to that. You see, there's so many nuggets in the book of Nehemiah. But when I went to go and really do a deep dive in the book of Nehemiah, there's so many things that we can take away from this book. And my prayer for you this week is that God gives you favor in the workplace, just like the king granted Nehemiah's prayer and provided all the things, the people, the tools, everything that Nehemiah needed in order to take back and rebuild the wall. The king put his stamp of approval. My prayer for you this week is that you have favor in the workplace, favor on the job site, favor in the organization, favor in the company, that when it comes time for the promotion, that your supervisor will put his or her stamp of approval and give you everything that you ask for. When it comes time to take a sabbatical or to take a leave or go on maternity leave or go on leave to take care of your elderly parent, when it comes time that you have the grace and the favor of those who are in position to bless you while you're on your way. Favor in the workplace. That's my prayer for you this week. You all be blessed. I wanna challenge you to read the book of Nehemiah. And we're going to take a deeper dive, continue to learn more about Nehemiah, because there are so many nuggets that we can learn from this one short book in the Bible. You all be blessed. Blessings and favor.